The studio lights blazed like interrogation lamps, turning the air thick with heat and a faint scent of overpriced coffee. Denzel Washington sat centered in a black leather chair, his posture relaxed yet commanding, the kind of stillness that made interviewers nervous. Across from him perched two hosts from a rising digital network, Vibe Check Live, known for pushing boundaries until they snapped. The woman, Leo Avos, wore a crimson blazer sharp enough to slice bread. The man, Trent Harlow, sported a man bun and the smirk of someone who believed provocation equaled depth. Leela leaned forward, tablet glowing. "Denzel, your new film The Reckoning has faith that it's Korea again. Some say Hollywood's allergic to God these days. How does an outspoken Christian like you keep getting these roles when the industry's a broken bar, let's say, spiritually bankrupt?" Trent jumped in before Denzel could answer. "Yeah, man. Isn't it exhausting pretending to believe in fairy tales while the rest of us have evolved past Bronze Age myths?" The live chat exploded, fire emojis, laughing skulls, a few prayer hands. Denzel's eyes flicked to the monitor, then back to his hosts. He smiled, and not the megawatt movie star grin, but something quieter, almost pitying. "First," he said, voice low enough that the boom mix strained, "I don't pretend. Second, the only thing bankrupt here is the question." Leela's eyebrows shot up. Trent's smirk faltered. She recovered quickly. "Come on, Denzel, you're a legend, but let's be real. A prayer on set, blessing the craft services table. People call it performative. People call a lot of things performative when they're scared of sincerity." Denzel replied, "I pray because I need it, not for clout." "You want performative? Look at half the scripts I turned down as soulless cash grabs dressed up as AIG." Trent leaned in, elbows on knees. "Speaking of soulless, rumor has it you walked off a Marvel reshoots table when they wanted to cut a chapel scene." "True." "True enough," Denzel said. "They said the scene ain't slowed pacing. I said pacing ain't the problem, cowardice is. You can CGI dragons, but God forbid a character kneels for 2 minutes." The chat scrolled faster. #Denzel Savage trended within seconds. Leela sensed blood in the water and circled. "But isn't faith just another brand? You've got the Bible app deal, the church partnership." Denzel lifted a hand, gentle but final. "Stop. You're doing that thing young journalists do, confusing influence with exploitation. I don't sell salvation, I live it. And right now, I'm trying to decide if this interview is worth the oxygen." Trent laughed too loud. "Whoa, shots fired." "So you're saying we're the problem?" "I'm saying," Denzel continued, "Hollywood isn't crumbling because it lost God. It's crumbling because it lost truth." "Yeah, I'll chase shock, not story." "You want me to play a pastor who molests kids, so that's a gritty. I play a pastor who forgives his sons." "Gilra, that's so corny. One feeds the algorithm, the other feeds the soul. Guess which one gets greenlit?" The control room buzzed. Producers whispered into headsets. Leela's producer signaled, "Keep pushing, views are spiking." Trent ignored subtlety. "Okay, but hypothetically, if science proved tomorrow there's no God, would you recant publicly?" Denzel studied him for a long beat. "Son, I've buried a child, I've held dying friends, I've seen miracles in hospital rooms doctors can't explain. You think a headline's gonna shake that? Science and faith aren't enemies, bad questions are." He stood. The chair rolled back with a soft thud that sounded, in the silence, like a gavel. Leela scrambled. "We're not only a yeah, we are." Denzel buttoned his jacket. "I came to talk about a movie, not play atheist." "Gotcha. You want real conversation? Read the book you're scared to open. Might ruin your clickbait." He walked off set mid-sentence. Cameras swiveled, chasing the back of a legend. The feed cut to a stunned graphic. Technical difficulty. But the internet didn't need the rest of the show. Clips ricocheted across platforms. Within an hour, #Denzel walkout top charts. Atheist influencers skewed rebuttals. Megachurches booked extra services. A leaked memo from the studio had surfaced, effective immediately. No more faith ambush segments. Talent walkouts tank stock. 2 days later, Denzel sat in a small diner off Crenshaw, eggs cooling while a teenage waitress refilled his coffee for the 3rd time. Too shy to speak. His phone buzzed at his agent. "They're offering double to come back and clarify." Denzel muted the call. "Clarify what?" "That I meant every word." The waitress finally whispered, "Mr. Washington, a broken bar, my mom's sick. Would you pray?" He closed his eyes, voice steady as scripture. Father, touch this child's mother. Let her feel your peace that passes understanding. A broken bar across town. Leela Voss stared at her reflection in a pitch-black monitor. Her follower count had flatlined, sponsors ghosted. Trent's man bun looked suddenly ridiculous under fluorescent newsroom lights. The network issued a statement. We regret any discomfort caused and are reviewing interview protocols. But the demagia or the deliverencia was done. Scripts flooded Denzel's inbox. Not from studios, but from first-time filmmakers. Stories about redemption, doubt, real fathers, real faith. One arrived handwritten on legal paper from a kid in Detroit. I want to make movies that don't lie. Denzel read it twice, then called his producing partner. We're funding this one ourselves. 6 months later, The Reckoning opened to the biggest Friday in faith-based history. Critics who'd once mocked Sunday school cinema now wrestled in reviews. Washington doesn't just act belief, he weaponizes it. On premiere night, Denzel stood outside the Chinese theater, paparazzi flashbulbs popping like gunfire. A reporter shouted the inevitable, "Any regrets about the interview?" He smiled, the same quiet one from the hot seat. Only that I didn't walk out sooner. Inside, the film ended on a silent shot, a man on his knees in an empty church, sunrise spilling through stained glass. No dialogue, no score, just truth, unfiltered. The credits rolled. The audience didn't move. Some cried, some prayed. A few hardened execs in $5,000 suits found themselves whispering amen before they realized that Hollywood didn't crumble that night. Something sturdier rose in the cracks.